Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing day 4 for my 7 days of Dead leading up to the return of The Walking Dead Season 5 second half, which will be with Episode 9. This one, we're going to be doing the Throwback review. We're going to be focusing on another one of the best episodes ever of The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 4, which was called Killer Within. Alright, so Killer Within. Now this is one that I actually have seen fairly recently, a few months back, and it is just, man, Season 3 just blows my mind. It really does. And it kind of, the new feel, the Glen Mazzara feel starts in the second half of Season 2, where we get that more action, high speed sort of, very exciting, approach to the show, where it isn't so much focused on the character development as much it's more on kind of the spectacle, the big action, the big exciting, lots of deaths, craziness that he seems to bring to the show, which probably isn't sustainable for the long run. If you guys have seen my video giving my thoughts on Season 3 and why it's my favorite season, if you haven't, it's in the channel. Go to the channel, watch it if you're interested. But his approach on it is really something special for the time that he's on the show, and it's my favorite of the entire show. Granted, we do need the character development and all that too, and he mixes in a little bit of that, but he spends more time, probably 60-70%, on with only the rest maybe being 30-40% with regards to kind of the development part of it. He focuses a lot of on the action and everything, and it's amazing to see. So Killer Within, man. This will be the episode most of you guys will remember of the Death of Lori episode in the Walking Dead television series. Huge episode, finale episode that he puts at the 4th episode of the Walking Dead's season, which is pretty crazy. They could have saved this for a mid-season finale. They could have saved this for a finale, but you guys know how they like to do it, where they kind of give us, some big finale type episodes throughout the season as well too. They don't always, like in Season 2, they kind of left a lot of the stuff to the end and had, the big deaths, right at the final part. With Season 3, it had a different format. You had some, really exciting stuff happen all throughout. But and you had the big finale at the end. But then we also had kind of these, which is this is a finale episode right here. This is like a season finale worthy episode, because you have the two huge deaths, with the biggest death in The Walking Dead ever, I would have to say, which is the death of Lori. In the comic book series as well too, happened at a different time. They switched it up, they changed it up here, and they caught most of us by surprise, me included. I did not think they were going to kill Lori off at this time. It was really early to do it, and it was very impactful. And then in addition to that, they also kill off Tdog, which was crazy as well too. Just an insane episode. So let's go down the episode. That's the outcome of it. Of course, you have the amazing reaction by Andrew Lincoln in his acting at the end of the episode, which is, the saddest moment in all of The Walking Dead. I ranked it as my saddest in my video I did with Top 10. I think it was called Most Emotional Moments. It was definitely the most emotional moment in the series. The very end of this episode, just wow, so emotional. His reaction to that, and the acting and everything, Carl and the whole bit. Even before that, you've got the Tdog death with Carol. He kind of sacrifices himself to save her and to close the gate there when they needed it. And wow, yeah, really, really, crazy death. I would have liked to see him be developed more, gotten to know a little bit more about him. It was always a character that we never really knew too much about in the series. He was killed off here. Not every character is going to be developed that much. But he was one that was in the series from so long. It would have been cooler to see some kind of development with him, maybe in Season 2 when the time was slower, or who knows, I don't know. But that wasn't the approach they took at that time. That said, though, definitely unpredictable, definitely going through a season at, not being able to let us kind of telegraph or have an idea of what they're going to do before they're doing it. We just think this is going to be an average episode, nothing special, and we get this episode, Killer Within. Crazy. So we find out, if you guys don't remember the storyline of this one, that Andrew has, in effect, survived. Rick locking him with the walkers was not enough to kill him. He's actually a pretty wiry little guy, and we even see him and Rick get into it at the end here, and he's got a pretty fierce tenacity. Even though he's really small, he's able to give Rick a run for his money with the axe and everything, and almost is able to kill him. Then we have Oscar, who picks up the gun, and in a nice little twist, rather than shooting Rick, because Rick and the others have not been very nice to him, chooses to shoot Andrew for all that he's done, turning on the alarm, everything like that. Behind him, you've got Daryl. He's shaking. He's got his knife because he's not sure what's going to happen at that time. And as a viewer, I wasn't really sure either, and it was really exciting, all the way through. So the beginning of the episode, we start off with Rick and the others. They're kind of locking the gates. They're locking everything. They're strategically setting things up. They don't have the prison is too big as a whole to clean the whole thing out by this point. So they're cleaning out sections, and they're locking gates, so they're keeping walkers in certain spots. The gates are down in a certain spot of the prison, so they're kind of locking that section off. And Andrew comes in from kind of the background of us not even knowing he's still alive, wondering who's watching Carol in that previous episode. And we find out that it's him afterwards. You can kind of tell because you can see him picking up the deer and picking stuff up. You can kind of have an idea that it would be him. Who is watching, and he kind of screws up their whole plan by smashing some of the locks and letting the zombies in when Rick and the others are working on locking out the outer parts to kind of create a lock tier system. And it's, man, so exciting when you see the walkers. You kind of go to Carl, go over, boom, the walkers are coming in. You've got Lori, Herschel with his crutches, and they're in the courtyard section there of the prison, and Rick and the others have in effect locked themselves out. And one scene I'll always remember from this episode, it kind of exemplifies this episode for me, is where you have Rick, he's running. You have Andrew Lincoln, he's running back, and he's trying to get the keys, and it gives you that feeling of if you're ever in a rush and you try to open a lock, it's so difficult, because you're shaking, right? Because your adrenaline is pumping like crazy, and you're trying to unlock this thing with this little key and a lock. And I'm sure you guys know exactly what I mean. You've all been there when you're trying to do it quickly, and it makes it take longer. When you're trying to quickly unlock something small with a key and try to get the key out of a keychain, like with a bunch of keys on it. And it's so hard. And you can see any part where Andrew, he's freaking out, his adrenaline going crazy, and he's trying to lock it. They're tossing the keys back and forth to try to get there quicker, and he's just screaming and yelling and running, and oh my God, so exciting. So just edge of your seat type stuff the first time you watch it, for sure. Even now, watching it again, it's like, wow, it's just so exciting the way they show it all. And you've got the deaths mixed in with Tdog and the others, so you don't know what's going to happen. And Lori, of course, she can't move, and Herschel can't move, and because she's pregnant, obviously. You got the C-section and all that. Crazy episode. So in addition to that, we also have some scenes that cut over to what's going on with Woodbury, and this is part of why this is my favorite season, is because it doesn't just focus on one location with the group. I love his approach to having the storylines happen in sequence throughout most of the season. Some episodes, especially the beginning, of course, focus just on Rick's group, the survivors at the prison. Then you have the one that focuses just on the governor at Woodbury. But then I really like these episodes where you have it cutting back and forth. I feel like they're giving us really good stuff from both sides. On the other side of things with Woodbury, you've got Michonne. She's mistrusting of the governor. She sees the bullet holes inside of the thing. We get the sense she's catching on. She doesn't want to stay there. But then Andrea, she's kind of like, where are we going to go? I have nothing. I have no one. This place looks safe. I'm tired of running around from zombies all the time, coming after me. And I don't know, go to the coast. Like, well, what's the point? So... And you've got Merle, who, he really, for me, is kind of the linchpin that holds this season together as the best season for me, because you have him, and he's so interesting every scene he's in. Even when he's just talking to Andrea in this one, he asks her why they never hooked up, and she tells him that that he called her a whore and a rug muncher. There's also another scene in here too where you have Daryl. He's calling up to Glenn and Maggie in the prison watchtower, and he asks him if he's coming. And it's just they have a lot of little touches in there that just add to it, that make the episode great. Where rather than having some kind of like filler that's just boring or just doesn't do anything for the story, it just has, season 3 has a lot of really great moments. The writing is awesome all throughout because you have a lot of characters, so you're not focusing, I feel like, on uselessness. You're focusing on a more all-world effect or a Walking Dead universe type approach where you have both storylines happening at the same time. And we get to see back and forth of what's going to happen with some great development from both sides and seeing them eventually come to a head. So skipped the first few episodes of the season to focus on this one since those are great too. Season 3 premiere is awesome also with lots of action, but not too much else to say aside from just that they storm the prison, they take the place, and they kill tons of zombies, and it's super awesome and lots of fun. This one is one of the most memorable episodes of The Walking Dead because it changes the whole series. You've got the death of Lori, death of Tdog. You've got the beginning of what's happening between Michonne and the governor, kind of that whole rivalry that eventually ends in season 4. And it's just incredible. It's just incredible. Andrew and the prisoners and that, even though the prisoners didn't really last too long, they were, of course, didn't last a season. But again, you wouldn't expect them to. They could have used them more, but they're prisoners, and there's enough characters. We're focusing on great characters. We're focusing on other things. There's more important stuff to focus on here. So Killer Within, again, another perfect episode. I would give this one a throwback score of 10 out of 10. Just as exciting nowadays as watching it then. First time you watch it, of course, is the most exciting, but it's got good replay value. Watching it again, it's still exciting. You still get into it, and it's really cool to see kind of the beginning of the prison and how awesome they had the prison set up in season 4, where they really had it like totally safe, basically, from the inside anyway, aside from, people dying, coming at each other. In terms of like outside threats, they really had the prison about as safe as you could have it for a long time, which is really cool. As safe of a location as you're probably going to get, or one of them. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this episode of Throwback in Day 4. Day 5, let's see what we're going to do next. Let me just take a look real quick because I wrote them out. We'll go for Clear. Yeah, Clear. I'm going to skip a bunch because, I thought about doing Made to Suffer, which I could do afterwards, I guess, but I'm going to skip it for now and go to Clear because we've got, of course, the Morgan's coming back into the show, so it makes sense for us to do a throwback of that one. Skip the rest, then we'll do Welcome to the Tombs because I haven't focused on that one for a really long time. And then 30 Days Without an Accident will finish us up on Saturday, and then Sunday, of course, the premiere of the new half season and my reviews for that, of course, afterwards. So yeah. Let me know what you guys think about all of that, and if you like the video, please do me a favor. Please like it. If you want to support the channel, please share it. Please favorite it. And if you're new, you want to sub, feel free to sub. That's it, guys. See you tomorrow for Clear. Trev, saying peace.